Yo, Bale, the Pan-ICV seal's a lock. We got air and temp gravs a go. Bring her in. Bring her in, relayed a voice. Bringing her in, affirmed a third. Not what you'd expect from guides to any sort of afterlife, thought Bertram. Even to his own mind, this observation felt distant, as if most of him, the limbs and heart and talking bits, were dead and dumped down a long, narrow well, while his ears and more enterprising parts of brain were topside and taking care of business. The world thumped and clomped around him. A Protostar 340K, huh, Pyle? Mused a gruff female voice, presumably Bale. I didn't know any of these death traps even existed anymore. Weren't they recalled like a bazillion years ago? Pyle let out a snorting laugh. I remember when ICV and Pilot reviewed them back before you were even incubated. Called them the worst off-planet vehicle since invention of the wind-powered space probe. Bale gave a humored sniff. There go my dreams for hot market demand. Maybe we can spin it, resell it as a curiosity. Kid, no one has ever been that curious. So standard rip and strip? And here I thought you didn't pay attention. The man's voice was proud. Rip 'em and strip 'em! Pyle shouted, and power tools ground to life, vibrating Bertram's ears, proactive brain bits, and everything else in range. This is not death, thought Bertram. This is the greater communicating universe at its most GCU-y. They were hardly revved up before another voice, gravelly with age, rattled over the sound. Hey, what's this? Hold it, hold it, hold it! And the power tools rumbled to a stop. The floor still buzzed lightly, or perhaps that was just the feeling creeping back into Bertram's limbs. What's wrong with you, Froobs? Didn't you notice we got ourselves 2 clingers over here? 2 clingers! Yelled a voice that echoed down a hall. Clingers! Relayed a distant voice. 2! Well, what do you know? Pyle sounded amazed. Good eye, Stack. And I thought the only life left on this ship was the Kreblat barnacles on the hull. Few minutes more and you'd have been right, assessed the old man. You know who this clinger is, don't you? Something nudged Bertram's shoulder, possibly the toe of a boot. It's that Burglat Largo guy. Who? Asked Pyle. Sure, the aged being continued. The voice was very close now, and the life-form's breath stank like old wet salad. Take away the face bristles, cut the mane back, and no question, it's him. Bertram knew space changed a person. He hadn't thought it was that much. Who in the GCU, began Pyle, is Burglat Largo? He means Bertram Ludlow, said Bale in a dismissive tone. And he's only the star of the most popular Usenet series of all time. Come on, Pyle, even you must have heard of There Goes the Galaxy. Hey, I'm running a business. Do I have time to sit around watching the Usenet? Keeping up on current events is part of being well-rounded, sniffed the old man. Gives you depth of character. Someone lifted Bertram's head. He could just about feel it, and seconds later a flood of oxygen filled his lungs. The lungs, not terribly hopeful about anything lately, were surprised at this turn of events. The first season of There Goes the Galaxy just ended, explained Bale. See, they took a guy from the planet Trife who didn't even realize there was other life in space, and then they tossed him into the greater communicating universe to save his planet from this mysterious threat. Yes, Bertram knew all about that. Even his still foggy mind was able to conjure enough flashbacks of his quest to fill a standard-sized novel. It was a stellar finale, Bale went on. You should have seen it. I hear they're using a different trifling with an entirely new challenge this coming season. So you know what this means, don't you? Mused Stack. This means this isn't just any Protostar 340K. This is Captain What's-His-Name's. Rallium Smorlud, input Bale. Rallium Smorlud's Protostar 340K. This isn't just one of the absolute worst ships ever made in the greater communicating universe. This is a pivotal entertainment prop once owned by a historic underworld figure who's likely at the bottom of a tar pit by now. Or digested by some carnivorous Alteran daisy, Bale suggested. I hear they're fierce. So you're saying, on auction, we could rack up some pretty hefty unis with this? Surprise and hope filled Pyle's words. It's why it pays to give a little attention to the universe around you, rasped the elder. Guess there's only one thing left to do then. Bring in the dollies! Bring in the dollies! Someone called down the hall. Dollies, bring them in! Here, Bertram summoned just enough energy to open his eyes, and what he saw crouched before him was a snouted, pink life form in a bright orange jumpsuit. The being had curved tusks that projected out from a bristled face. Bristled hair rolled down the man's head and neck in a jet-black mane that perched between two alert, pointed ears. In response, the being offered him a broad, welcoming smile. Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Ludlow. Glad to see you with us. I'm Pyle Little Big, 3 Little Big Salvage, and we're here to save your life.